After playing the previous God of War back in 2022, I was so hyped for the new one that I brought Ragnarok the day it came out. The game then proceeded to sit on my shelf untouched for the next 2 years. But now, finally, the time has come to finish what I started. Our story begins with Kratos and his son Atreus returning from a hunt when they are ambushed by the goddess Freya, who is seeking revenge after we killed her son. Oh dear. Even though we did it to save her life, but anyway. She's very persistent and we fight her off multiple times. Oh! Before arriving back home, where Atreus' pet wolf Fenrir is slowly dying.
You're okay.
And Atreus has to put him out of his misery. Atreus then gets pissed because in the last game we found out he has giant heritage and another name Loki. And Atreus wants to find answers.
Finding out who I am, who Loki is.
But Kratos refuses.
Looks like we never will.
Okay. Kratos leaves Atreus alone so he can grieve his lost wolf Fenrir and heads back up to the house to sleep. Waking up from a nightmare, Kratos realizes Atreus never came home, so we set out to find him. Tracking Atreus through the woods, we encounter some basic enemies. Oh, sweet, there we go. What's my shield? L1. Alright, sweet. Yeah, smash it, man. Before finding a big bear that has clearly been killed by something even bigger.
Mauled. By what?
Even more worried about Atreus now, we rush to find him following a trail of blood.
We'll find.
Heading through a cave and opening a couple of chests, we get through to the other side when we are ambushed by a ginormous bear. And the bear is angry. Fighting the bear, we get it weak enough to subdue. However, the bear starts transforming and it turns into Atreus. What's happened to it? Disintegrated. Oh, what? So Atreus can transform into a giant bear now, which is pretty cool. And we get our first trophy, a grisly encounter. Not knowing what is really going on, we head back home for a well-deserved rest. But right before we can doze off, we get interrupted by a hectic storm outside. Only to see Thor waiting for us. Thor? Ready for a fight, Thor offers us mead instead, which we obviously accept. Come on in. But sadly, before we can enjoy some of that mead, another guest arrives, and this time it's Odin, the king of Asgard. Odin tries to offer us a deal while sculling all of our mead. Odin wants peace. No more fighting, and in return, Atreus has to stop searching for someone called Tyr.
To stop his search for Tyr.
Odin even offers to take care of Freya for us.
Keep Freya off your back.
Kratos declines the peace offering.
No.
So Odin orders Thor to rough us up a bit. After a battle in which Thor toys with us, he flies off. And we get the trophy Blood Debt for battling Thor. Oh, Blood Debt. Returning home, we find out Odin invited Atreus to Asgard for whatever reasons he has.
And he invited me to Asgard.
Kratos is pissed off at Atreus for trying to find Tyr behind his back. Atreus, trying to explain himself, takes us into the forest where we fight off more enemies and unlock the Knock Off the Rust trophy for purchasing our first skill. On our way to wherever Atreus is taking us, we get ambushed by a centaur called the Huntress. Let's go. We slay the Huntress and arrive at Atreus' secret location, where he shows us these visions that are meant to be read by giants.
Come on.
The visions tell us the story of Ragnarok. In the vision, we see Tyr bringing forth Ragnarok, which proves to Atreus that he is still alive somewhere.
That's Tyr.
We exit the vision door and Kratos is extremely pissed at Atreus for doing all of this behind his back. On the way home, we run into Sindri, who activates a gateway for us to travel to his house, since our house has been compromised. Hotel.
We've settled here in the realm between realms.
Sindri welcomes us into his home, and his brother Brock helps us upgrade some gear, where we unlock the Spitshine trophy for upgrading a piece of armor. Sindri and Brock repair the gateway to allow us to travel across all the realms using special seeds since the Bifrost is broken. What?
I also used it for light.
Okay, good note.
We travel to the Orvanga wetlands in search of Tyr, hoping he is still alive somewhere. Quest for Tyr. Arriving at our destination, we find the first of 48 hidden ravens around the world, needing all of them for the platinum. Using a small boat to help us traverse the area,
So business.
we find a bunch of collectibles required for the platinum, including a Narnia chest, which requires solving a puzzle to unlock. Each chest giving us items to either increase our max health or increase our max rage. Before arriving at a village where Sindri is chilling and upgrades Atreus' bow, giving him arrows that can make certain objects disappear. We make our way into the tavern where we are looking for a dwarf called Durlin, but he isn't here. So we set sail to Durlin's place instead. Durlin is here, but is very hesitant to give us any information. And Durlin, along with his random pet octopus, gives us a fine. What a dog. Leaving Durlin's, we fight off some lizard men. For Atreus reads the fine and we realise that Durlin actually gave us directions to a nearby mine where we might be able to find Tyr. So we jump into a nearby train cart. Finding another raven and some more collectibles, we make our way into a clearing where we get attacked by some creature called Dreki. Let's go. Before jumping back into another cart when we are ambushed by more of the lizard men things. We try to fight them off, but they derail the cart. Where are we now? What just happened? We make our way into the nearby mines where plenty more lizard men await. With the lizard people defeated, we celebrate by jumping on a water ride.
But I can't stop thinking about this. We spend all of our time fighting bad stuff.
Solving some puzzles to make our way through the area. Good Friday. And fighting through a few mini bosses. We finally find Tyr being held prisoner. We free Tyr, but he is incredibly confused about what is going on and tries to run away.
You monsters! Stop! We need
But before we can chase after them, we are ambushed. Having to fight through many enemies while chasing after Tyr and Atreus, we catch up to them and Tyr seems to have calmed down a bit. Atreus uses his slick mohawk and puppy dog eyes to convince Tyr to come with us.
You help the giants.
Escaping the cave, we make it to a raft of sorts and pull ourselves across the water where we use the gateway to get back to Sindri's house. Atreus overhears Kratos and Mimir talking about Freya, so Atreus hatches a plan to try and get her back on our side. Atreus and Sindri head out and find the giant god serpent seeking help, but it isn't that useful. All it tells us is Ironwood. Heading back out, we slay a whole bunch of enemies, eventually managing to find Freya. But she is still super pissed that we killed her son. Go on then. Do it. Atreus tries to convince her to join us in the fight against Odin, but Freya refuses and lets Atreus go. Returning home, we all have a nice dinner together and plan our next move. We decide to head to Alfheim, home of the elves, in search of more information, when a random squirrel starts to hit on me.
My goodness, what a strapping
Who's
physique.
this? Ratatoska, guardian of the world tree.
It's a long story.
He cleans a seed that allows us to travel to our next destination, Alfheim, where we grab a couple collectibles and fight off some tanky ass light elves.
Whoa! Was that a bomb?
we find another one of those giant shrines that we are looking for.
Wait until you see this.
We learn that Ironwood is actually a mythical sanctuary for giants. And we see more visions of Ragnarok and how a champion will unite the realms against Odin.
Here. This is what we saw.
Although Tyr doesn't really care and doesn't want to fight.
I can't.
So we exit the vision room where we get attacked by more elves. We deal with the mini boss Alva. Don't you bloody heal up now, you got like 1 HP. Ooh. And Atreus almost dies trying to save an elf we just captured.
Atreus!
Oh dear. Atreus, what are you doing, mate? And now we must fight our way back to the Mystic Gateway, this time dealing with Dark Elves. And grabbing another hidden raven, which is way harder than it looks, I swear. Oh. What? We return to Sindri's house and have another nice family dinner.
That's what.
After falling asleep, Atreus then wakes up in a random forest. Following a pack of wolves, they lead us to a painting where we meet a young woman, and we learn we are in the mysterious Ironwood place the giant snake told him about.
And who are you?
Apparently, the young woman has been waiting her whole life to meet Loki, and introduces herself as Angerboda, and then runs off, so we naturally follow. She explains a bit about the history of Ironwood and the giants as we parkour through some trees. However, there is enemies in this mystical dreamland as well, so we have to kill them. Eventually arriving at her treehouse, where Atreus has his own prophecy waiting to be read.
I'm ready.
The prophecy says that Kratos will die and Atreus will join Odin. Atreus then flips out and transforms into a wolf, trying to eat the prophecy.
You're okay. It's all alright. It'll be okay.
Atreus eventually calms down and turns back to normal. Angerboda then takes us on another stroll to try and teach us to control our powers.
Fuck yeah.
Using our wolf transformation to fight off some enemies. We then take a well-deserved break to skim some rocks,
Easy enough.
which Atreus sucks at. But to make up for the embarrassing rock skimming, Atreus shows off his cool marble collection. But Angerboda has way more marbles than Atreus, so she's better at that too.
She's very cryptic.
She then explains how these marbles are actually all the giants who have hidden their souls to prevent getting slaughtered by Odin. She then entrusts all the giant soul marbles to Atreus. We battle through some more enemies and arrive at a giant's house named Gryla, who is trying to eat innocent animals, so we have to put a stop to it. We battle Gryla and her big pot of souls. Gryla turns out to be Angerboda's grandmother, and she is pretty pissed off we destroyed her things.
I should have thrown you to the wolves right after I pulled you out of your mother.
So we just leave while she hurls abuse at us.
Or nothing. And no one will ever remember you.
Unlocking the cauldron trophy for destroying her cauldron. We've been in this realm for long enough now, so we lie down on a blanket and chant our way back home. However, we wake up in our own house and it's overrun with ice zombies. We fight through them all and get to a magic gateway, but Kratos pops through before we can use it, and it's safe to say he is angry.
Do not lie to me again.
Switching back to Kratos now, we blast through all the enemies. When we are ambushed by a random Valkyrie who for some reason wants us dead. During the battle with the Valkyrie, Kratos realizes that it's actually Freya in disguise. Atreus then goes full bear mode, but Kratos stops him before he can do anything.
You do not want this.
After saving Freya once again, she agrees to a temporary truce. Atreus then heads home with Sindri, and we unlock the Backyard Brawl trophy for battling the mysterious Valkyrie. Freya then wants our help to find and destroy a magic source that is binding her to this realm, and Brock decides to tag along. So using our Mystic Gateway once again, we head to Valheim. Feeling the pull of the magic, Freya leads us in the direction of the source. Avoiding a bunch of hostile plants, somehow Brock gets caught in a trap.
We should probably go get him.
And we are caught off guard by a hostile group, which turns out to be led by Freya's brother.
Answer me.
Freya swoops in to prevent a fight, and since now we are all on the same page, they cut down Brock and we settle into their camp. We leave Mimir behind to work on strategy, and we continue to search for the magic source, taking down a forest ancient
I gotta punch him with that or something.
among other crazy enemies.
He's got like 2 health bars. Oh crap.
We keep pushing forward and come face to face with one of Odin's captains, Fisk. Slaying Fisk, we arrive at Freya's home, but something seems off to Freya. We find the source of the magic keeping her bound, but before we can destroy it, we are attacked by a multi-dimensional dragon called Nidhogg. We keep Nidhogg distracted while Freya destroys one of the branches, and then she joins us in battle.
Yeah, make me remember all the random cards.
Nidhogg tries to retreat, but we quickly chop off her head. With Nidhogg now dead, Freya starts ripping off the rest of the branches and freeing herself fully from the magical binds. Freya then decides to team up with Kratos to help take down Odin. And we unlock the How It Started trophy for equipping an enchantment. And also the Root of the Problem trophy for battling Nidhogg. Returning to Freya's brother's camp, the siblings are reunited. Arguing about what their next step should be, Freya decides to leave with Kratos. Back at Sindri's house, Kratos confronts Atreus about where he has been. After a heated argument, everyone tries to convince Atreus that going to Odin is a bad idea.
Great. I guess everybody's against me now.
Atreus gets too angry and turns into a bear again, taking out Sindri in a fit of rage and runs
Right, bro. Oh, what are you doing?
through the Mystic Gateway, landing somewhere in the snow.
Atreus has lost the plot.
Fighting through the snow enemies, Atreus finds the giant turtle Charlie, aka Freya's old house, who seems in a really bad way.
Please. Please.
Charlie manages to stand up and Atreus makes his way inside. Lighting a fire to try and warm up, a suspicious crow appears, which I assume belongs to Odin, and so does Atreus.
It's okay, buddy.
More crows then fly in and teleport Atreus to a random island. Atreus, now in Asgard, follows Odin's ravens, where we run into a guy named Heimdall, who doesn't seem too fond of us. Heimdall leads us to an arena where we must fight off a few enemies before fighting Heimdall himself. But clearly way too powerful, Heimdall is just taking the piss. Thor interrupts the fight and informs Heimdall that Atreus is actually Odin's guest.
Not. He's our father's guest.
Heimdall still doesn't trust Atreus, but Odin sends him away and takes Loki and shows him to his new quarters, where he is more than welcome to stay and learn.
You missed welcoming our new house guest.
Odin left us some cool new gear in our wardrobe, so we chuck it on. Then some Aesir woman tries to intimidate Atreus.
The irony of this isn't lost on me.
The woman turning out to be Thrud, daughter of Thor. Meeting up with Odin, Atreus receives a magical sword that really seems to like him.
You have a name?
Ingrid.
Odin convinces Atreus to use a piece of a mask to try and find the other missing pieces. With the help of Thor, we traverse a volcanic area with lots of enemies. Following the mask, it leads us to another shrine where Angerboda appears. Viewing another prophecy about how a giant called Surtur becomes Ragnarok, destroying Asgard.
And then
Ragnarok destroys Asgard.
Leaving the shrine and following the mask, it leads us into some lava where we find one of the missing pieces. Switching back to Kratos now, Kratos and Freya head out in search of the Norns and the goddess of fate. It takes a while to get to where we are going, needing to take down a frost phantom. We reach our destination where the Norns inform us about Atreus being with Odin, and also that Kratos will die and Heimdall plans on killing Atreus. We speak to Brock and Sindri to come up with a plan to defeat Heimdall and save Atreus. To defeat Heimdall, we are gonna need a special weapon. We head out with Brock and Freya, and we traverse through a giant cave. We slay some chicken rat dogs, and grab some collectibles. Brock then takes us down to some giant mermaid. We give the mermaid the materials. The mermaid then uses some quick hands to craft us our new weapon we can use to take down Heimdall.
Is it this buck? Oh shit.
Brock tries to speak to the mermaid, but it doesn't notice him, since he is missing a part of his soul thanks to an accident in which he briefly died.
I mean, unless you made a ring.
Kratos then asks Brock to bless the spear for us. We return to the surface and test out the spear on some enemies, before running into Odin, who wants to talk about Atreus.
Dad to dad.
Kratos threatens Odin to return his son, and Odin yeets.
Such a stupid show sometimes.
Trying to get in your head.
Reuniting with Freya, we stumble across a berserker grave, one of many spread around the realms we need for our Platinum Trophy.
I suppose it is.
Summoning the soul of a berserker, we battle it inside a little arena.
We've gone up.
The berserker whoops my ass, so I decide to come back later when I'm a little bit stronger. Showing off the new spear to Sindri, we still haven't figured out a way to get into Asgard to save Atreus. So Kratos decides to have a nap.
A well-earned rest. This is the first time I've seen him sleep this game, so
Switching back to Atreus, Odin is madly searching for answers about anything and everything and needs the mask to find them.
So you do that to like your
Sending Atreus, Thrud, and Heimdall to find the final piece of the mask.
For all of us.
Pushing our way through waves of enemies, using the mask to guide us.
Atreus is overpowered.
But the mask leads us to a giant wolf.
Oh shit.
And for whatever reason, we decide to set the giant wolf with blood all over its mouth and paws free.
There.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to help you out, man. Never mind, doesn't need our help.
With the wolf free, the mask is no longer working. And not knowing what is going on, we decide to head back.
Oh.
Heimdall then informs us that freeing the wolf was possibly the worst thing we could have done. We return to Asgard and everyone seems a bit tense, so we retreat to our room.
Of course I get the blame. All I did was free that giant wolf thing.
Atreus decides he's had enough and heads back home.
And say hi to Mimir for me.
Where a rift has opened up thanks to the giant wolf and let a bunch of enemies in. Playing as Kratos now, we clear everyone out and then we confront Atreus.
Some answer.
Everyone here is also pissed that Atreus freed the giant wolf Garm.
I thought that if
Gone! Great bleeding fuck, lad! You see, gone!
Unlocking the trophy Spartan Ways for remembering the Spartan teachings.
Trophy. Spartan.
Now, before we can go and do anything else, we have to go and stop Garm. Travelling to Helgrind, we quickly find Garm and try to follow him.
Found it.
We reach a clearing where Garm is hanging out, and the battle begins. Dodging his shockwaves and using his chain around his neck to our advantage, we manage to choke out Garm,
Oh,
getting the off-the-leash trophy.
Robbie.
It is over.
With Garm defeated, we start making our way back out, when, surprise, surprise, Garm isn't actually dead and ambushes us. Trying to run to safety while fighting off Garm again. Realizing Garm doesn't actually have a soul to be able to be killed,
How does he keep coming back?
Atreus hatches a plan that just might work. We stun Garm long enough for Atreus to use some of his giant magic, and Atreus attempts to transfer the soul of his old pet wolf Fenrir into the body of Garm. Garm runs off, so we go to track him down once again. This time, however, Garm seems scared. Atreus' spell has worked, and Fenrir's soul is now inside Garm's body.
Eats him.
With our new pet, Fenrir Garm, we return home where Atreus shows everyone what Odin has been up to. Tyr explains that the mask is able to grant one infinite knowledge. Atreus talks Kratos out of killing Heimdall, and since we are no longer killing Heimdall, Freya goes back to her brother's camp, where we follow to try and help out.
Brother, stand against him.
However, Freya's brother has been captured. During our search for Freya's brother, we are actually surprised by Heimdall.
Completely giving away your position.
Freya continues onwards, and Kratos and Heimdall's battle begins.
Don't worry, Frigg. I'll be coming for you and your brother as soon as I am finished here.
First, we have to kill Heimdall's pet thingy, Gulltopper.
Oh well, you and me then.
Before battling Heimdall, who can foresee all physical attacks, so we must use our new spear to slowly chip away at his health. We defeat Heimdall, but Kratos promised Atreus he wouldn't kill him, so we leave him badly injured by blowing off one of his arms.
Now I am definitely going to get him.
But Heimdall refuses to stop, so a second battle begins. This time we defeat him and beat the crap out of him. Making sure he is dead and stealing his magical horn. Unlocking the trophy for battling Heimdall. We catch up with Freya and find her brother. He's badly wounded, so we chuck him on our shoulders and start running, carrying him to safety. We summon a spectral boat to make our escape. The boat starts to fly, and we are attacked by a bunch of electric dragon things. When some guy called Bergia sacrifices himself to ensure our escape. And we arrive safely back at our camp. We inform Atreus of Heimdall's death
He left me no choice.
and return back to Sindri's. Atreus then wants to go back to Asgard to continue spying on Odin.
But Odin needs me.
So now back in Asgard, Atreus agrees to help Odin complete the mask. We grab the mask and go and find Thor, who is drunk in the tavern.
Seems like it.
And Thor accidentally starts a bar fight.
What? No! Oh, come on! No, I swear that really wasn't.
But we eventually head out on our mission.
You in a hurry to get back to Asgard?
Following the mask again, this time we actually find the final piece.
That was close.
Odin then arrives, but so does Thor's wife Sif, informing Odin about how Heimdall died, and then talks Thor into wanting to kill Atreus. We quickly use the device Sindri gave us to teleport back home. Planning our next move, Tyr suggests we sneak into Asgard to use the mask. Brock is suspicious on Tyr suddenly having a secret way into Asgard. Tyr then suddenly stabs Brock. And it is revealed that Tyr was actually Odin in disguise.
Let go of the boy and face me.
Trading the mask for Atreus, Odin tries to escape, but not before we quickly steal back the mask.
Too bad, son. Looks like war after all.
Freya attempts to save Brock, but Brock accepts his death. Teleporting away, Kratos and Atreus track Sindri down. However, Sindri is too upset and doesn't want anything to do with us anymore. Returning home, we prepare for war against Odin. Everyone splits up to unite the realms and gather an army to defeat Odin,
Unite the elves after centuries of war.
including Sindri.
Are you sure?
Kratos, Atreus, and Mimir head to a location called the Burning Cliffs. We track down Surtur, the fire giant who can bring forth Ragnarok. Following Surtur, we use the Chaos Blades to stab him and he falls. When we are then ambushed by a couple of Valkyries who are loyal to Odin.
Odin must have sent them.
We defeat the duo. Unlocking the Better Together trophy. And Surtur himself has transformed into Ragnarok. Fighting our way out, everyone regroups in Midgard.
Hildesfini informed me of your success.
With everyone successful on their recruiting missions, we now have our army to take the fight to Odin. Kratos and Freya give an uplifting speech to the gang to get everyone hyped.
Going out in a blaze of glory means that Odin burns too.
And we sound Heimdall's horn, heard across all the realms, signaling the beginning of Ragnarok. And opening a portal to Asgard. Odin has activated some defensive measures to prevent our army from getting into Asgard, so the gang leap into action to destroy these war machines.
Gotta stop those war machines.
With the war raging in Asgard, we fight our way through Odin's army. And it takes a while.
We should head for the flaw behind the Asgard.
But I suppose desperation is better than nothing.
But we eventually reach the war machines. And Ragnarok has also arrived. And so has Sindri, who uses a cool device to disable all the machines. Kratos then pops a party popper, and everyone regroups.
See the size of that thing?
Not wanting more innocent people to die, we try to protect and rescue the Asgardian refugees. Playing as Atreus now, we learn to control our bear form and start going nuts. But we are surprised by Thrud, who still seems to be a bit angry at Atreus and tries to kill him. When Thrud's mother Sif arrives and convinces Thrud to let it go and to blame Odin instead. We bust through a wall and Kratos rejoins the fray, and now we set out to find Odin. We fight through many more of Odin's forces when, in another surprise attack, Thor ambushes Kratos. Now we fight Thor again, but this time we are much stronger. And we are able to win the fight this time. Kratos refuses to finish Thor off due to Atreus and Thrud's friendship.
I would not.
Odin then pops up and is not happy that Kratos isn't dead.
Who told you to do that?
Thor refuses to follow Odin's orders, so Odin decides to kill him.
I didn't want this.
And now the time has come to finally take on Odin. In what is an intense and hard-fought battle, and with the help of Freya, we capture Odin.
Not quite yet.
But he pulls out some ridiculous move, and Odin, along with Atreus, falls into some cave. The mask is now glowing, and it seems we have found whatever Odin was looking for.
No more fighting.
Atreus then destroys the mask so Odin can't use it.
Why did you do that?
And we have a second battle with Odin.
Waited a long time for this, haven't you, Fritz?
This time, with Freya's help, once again we finally take down Odin once and for all. Atreus extracts Odin's soul and places it inside one of the marbles. Atreus then hands the Odin marble to Kratos, who then hands the Odin marble to Freya, who gives it back to Atreus.
That's all that matters.
So Sindri snatches the marble and smashes the crap out of it. Then dips. Ragnarok then arrives and continues to destroy everything. When Angerboda and Fenrir arrive through a rift to save us. Freya's brother stays behind to hold off Ragnarok, allowing us to escape. But Atreus is caught in the explosion. Waking up and not knowing where he is, unlocking the Ragnarok trophy for defeating Odin, Atreus heads out to find his father and the others.
Glad you're both alive.
We reunite with everyone, one by one.
Freya, it was his choice. I couldn't. Glad to see you too, Mimir.
Kratos and Atreus follow Angerboda, where she reveals another shrine. Atreus realizes it's his mother's shrine,
Shrine in Jotunheim.
and he decides that he must continue his journey alone to find the rest of the giants. Kratos is saddened by this, but agrees to let Atreus go off on his own. Kratos, Freya, and Mimir then discuss what's next for the trio. With the story now finished and all story-related trophies complete, what comes next is one of the biggest grinds of my life. Needing to go back through every realm to find and grab over 300 collectibles and complete all favors and side quests. This part of the trophy hunt arguably took longer than the actual story itself. First and foremost, we must go and attend Brock's funeral to unlock the Funeral for a Friend trophy. We return Dorlan's hammer to him in a side quest to unlock the Rebel Leader trophy. We get the Besties trophy for petting our pet wolves.
Good.
Trials by Fire for passing through a bunch of challenges and completing all the trials.
We've gotten all the unique rewards all Sutter had to.
We unlock the Phalanx trophy for obtaining every shield in the game. We go and find Freya's old sword Mardol that was gifted to her by Odin and unlock the It Was a Good Day trophy. New Friends trophy for going and fetching an orb for Lunda. We hunt down a bunch of different beast bosses to unlock the Invasive Species trophy. We must go out and find the 4 stags of season and send them home to get the Pure of Heart trophy.
That was not our aim. I'll take what I can get.
After opening every Narnia chest, we get the Full Belly trophy. The Full Goofer trophy for freeing these 2 giant spectral jellyfish.
These creatures know there is little choice for a parent.
We unlock the Librarian for finding every single collectible book,
Why not write your own?
which also unlocks us the Curator trophy for finding and collecting all artifacts.
Poetry, but maybe it's
After finding and returning all Lindworms to Ratatoskar, we get the Rightful Place trophy.
Sought the dragon's offspring. Why?
The trophy How It's Going for fully repairing our amulet. We help Freya collect 1 flower from each of the 9 realms to unlock the Florist trophy. Fully upgrading 1 armor set unlocks us the Ready for Commitment trophy.
A good fit.
We must go and find all 12 of the Berserker gravestones, defeating each of them one by one to unlock a battle with King Rolf, the final Berserker. And after defeating the king, we get the Grave Mistake trophy. And killing King Rolf gives us the final relic we need to unlock the Collector trophy.
not sure if that was justice or vengeance.
And then finally, we must take on the final and hardest boss, the Valkyrie Queen, to get the True Queen trophy. And unlock the Bear and the Wolf Platinum Trophy for God of War Ragnarok. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and make sure to let me know in the comments down below which games you want to see me platinum next.